I started this year saying to the entire Leppard team, what you don't change, you choose. If we don't change things, then we are choosing the old ways.
So our tagline is protecting your reputation, but it's the core of what we do. So we firmly believe in that. When you have a brand that is authentic, it becomes natural to promote it.
Talking about ethos and culture, but underpinning this is a very deliberate act on our part to plan carefully and develop deliberately in a certain direction.
Hello, and thank you for joining us as we embark on the second season of the Insuring Trust with Leppard podcast, where we unpack the stories behind the Leppard Underwriting team. From giving industry professionals and brokers sound advice to making sure your business is adequately insured, Leppard Underwriting is in the business of protecting your reputation. To share how Leppard has gone about ensuring trust for over 30 years now, we have Glenn Standen, CEO of Leppard Underwriting, Steve von Roretz, Chair of Leppard, and Milesha Chetty, Executive Head of Marketing. Welcome, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Now, at the start of season 1, we kicked off with Glenn. This time round, this is a question directed to all of you. Can you give us 3 words or phrases to describe Leppard's 3-decade journey? And once you've given us your word or phrase or phrases, I'd like you to tell us more what these words mean.
Okay, so I'm going to start again then. Chip in. So I started this year saying to the entire Leppard team, what you don't change, you choose. We had a chance to start the new year by looking at Leppard and our own individual spaces in a critical and honest way to ensure we were doing things in the best possible way. We tend to get so used to doing things in a certain way, sticking to our comfort zones, what we know best. But often there are better, more efficient ways, and we need to embrace those. If we don't change things, then we are choosing the old ways.
I think that's our key foundation. But I would choose three things. Probably our market recognition, and that really is about our growth and ability to stretch. Being able to gain business from a broad range of brokers now, whereas many years ago we probably were quite limited. We're recognized in the market, and I would hope that we're now a preferred market. We stand with the big guys now as well. Second one is our ethical practice. The way we do business, and Glenn has touched on some of that just now, we have to ensure that we always and without fail act ethically. To me, that's a massive issue. And both those elements bring the third word, which is trust. Trust is crucial to me. It's in our phraseology when we talk about ourselves, but it's a crucial ingredient. We've spent time to build out our reputation in the market that can be trusted. So here the elements of it. This trust runs through everything we do, and all the touch points to the client, to the broker, to our internal communications, to our principal, the Lombard, very important, and finally to our reinsurers, our capacity providers. All of them support us because of that trust, and I think that's a key ingredient to our growth.
So for me, the phrase that stood out most is holding on to what matters. And I can't speak to a 3-decade journey at Leppard. I've only been here for 7 years, but it's 7 years that has brought a lot of change. We've seen the acquisition of 2 UMAs, adding many products through to our product suite, and the growth of our workforce. And for me, the worry sometimes is when you grow, you might lose sight of your values. And if you lose sight of your values, it's detriment to the culture of the company. And I think that we hold firm on our values. So we have our 5 pillars and we hold each other accountable for that. And that's what value means for us. So that's how we hold on to what matters, and we keep the culture the same culture that we've always had.
So with that in mind then, Milesha, what is the power behind the Leppard brand, as we'd say previously, the secret sauce? How do you ensure that this brand remains relevant in an ever-evolving industry?
Yeah, and it certainly is ever evolving. So it becomes really difficult to keep up with brand trends. And I think for us, we have an authentic brand. So our brand is, we identify our brand to our culture and our values. And it's a personal brand. So when we say, so our tagline is protecting your reputation, but it's the core of what we do. So we firmly believe in that. And when you have a brand that is authentic, it becomes natural to promote it. I think that that's our secret.
So in light of Milesha's answer, Steve and Glenn, when speaking to the ethos, values, and beliefs of the company, what do you think you as the Leppard team are doing well in?
Our Leppard story, as referred to it, is built on 5 key pillars. Never compromise quality, people are really important, learn, be forward-thinking, and be solutions-driven. But at the heart of those pillars, I think, are our people who work with our brokers and then in turn our shared clients. We have a team of great people and leaders at Leppard, and for me, leaders aren't always the know-it-alls who always try it or are expected to perhaps outshine everyone. We admit when we make mistakes and genuinely value learning from the people around us. We view the team's strengths as a complement, perhaps to some of our own weaknesses. No one excels in every area. No one's perfect all round. But a successful business basically thrives on the collective brilliance of the team, not just individual, and it's all about the unit. It's not perhaps about being the smartest person in the room. It's about assembling a team of people that gel together, work together, and as a unit, they just bring the best out of everybody for the benefit of the greater team, the greater organization, and our greater vision. And I think we've done really well in assembling that great team of people.
And how do you feel you've led that assortment of Avengers? Because this is what this is, right? So you're pulling on other people's strengths to reach a common goal.
Okay, so everyone around this table probably knows that I'm about to hit an age milestone in a couple of days' time. So yes, anybody wondering, I'm about to hit 50. and I think in becoming older and getting to that point, I've realized what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses. And I tell you what, if you pick a great group of people, then it's not about anything special, anything wonderful. It's just about just drawing on everyone's abilities and bringing them together as a unit. And I think if you're comfortable in your own skin and you're not worried about being the most intelligent, the most important person in that room, and you just allow everybody to bring their value, then you've got a great team.
I have to add to what Milesha and particularly what Glenn has said, that issue of culture, and we work hard on that, is so important. And that's from the time that you interview somebody and making sure that they are the right fit first time round. You know, there's so often people talk about, oh, these terrible staff I've got. Actually, it's your fault as the manager. It's got nothing to do with the individual. It's your fault as the manager having employed them to begin with, and training them and helping them and supporting them. And I think that is a lot of what we've got right at Leppard. And Glenn talks about this all the time within the business. I would like to emphasize, we're talking about ethos and culture, but underpinning this is a very deliberate act on our part to plan carefully and develop deliberately in a certain direction, and with it brings the whole company and all the staff with it. To me, that's quite a crucial element to the way forward. Underpinning everything we're doing is that deliberate act of proper strategic planning. And yes, we're agile, and there are tactics that we use along the way, but it brings a nice foundation to what Glenn in particular has been talking about.
Yeah. So Glenn has this saying, amidst the noise. So sometimes when you're frantic and trends and you're worried about a lot of things, he'll calm you down and he'll say, we do what we do, we'll do it well, and the rest will flow. And it's amazing how grounding that statement is, because then it just pulls you back in to what we do, and then the noise just lifts.
And I think the thing is, it's kind of a strange thing to say, but nowadays we'd rather employ people with the right culture,
Yes,
and train the skills than get someone with the skills that's not a cultural fit. Because when you've got a group of people that pull together, want to be together, want to work together, and all have the same ideas and goals and drive, the rest will come together.
So, Steve, the saying goes, there's nothing new under the sun. And I'm inclined to believe that. Having said that, though, what are some of the new trends you are seeing in the insurance market? And in addition to that, how is Leppard gearing towards those changes to stay on top of your game?
I don't know that there's necessarily a special or identifiable new trend. Things change all the time.
Okay.
So I would alter the word from trend to change. And we've got legislative changes. We've got technology changes. We've got the way we communicate and hold documentation. The data that's necessary these days. That is a continuing rollout of change. So I prefer not to say trend.
Okay.
The issue for us, I suppose, is that as we've grown and we've got a little bit bigger, we've got to a point of an inflection point, and that gives us opportunity to develop and to connect to bigger things.
Yeah.
So if there's a change or a trend, yes, it's how to go beyond maybe South Africa, broaden our product range. Legislation is going, as I said, is going to change things a little bit. Those are the things I think that are important at the moment.
So you spoke about change, and I know it's difficult to have a conversation these days, especially about technological advancement, without that 2-letter acronym popping up. And no, it's not HR, but AI. But invariably, AI done badly will lead to a call from HR. With the rise of digital transformation, how is Leppard integrating technology into its operations and customer interactions? Perhaps this is a question for any of you who'd like to field.
Well, I'm the youngest in the room. So
Thank you.
Clearly identify completely with the digital age. So maybe I'll have a go first. This is, to me, is very interesting, actually. When it comes to AI, I think we've got to be quite careful. And then the old adage, and I know that Glenn has used this in the past, the old adage of garbage in, garbage out counts. You can go and do ChatGPT, but you're not entirely certain where that data and they're sitting or where that information source is. And people tend to believe that ChatGPT has brought something out or written something and somehow true. Machine learning, and we are developing our own technology base. We've done it all sorts of different ways, but our current technology base is very much to do with our data and the ability to use that data and interpret that data, giving us better insight into what the customer is and better insight into exposures, better insight into how to price things properly. So AI is almost I'll be radical for a moment, almost a falsehood.
Okay.
It's how to get clean data, how to make sure that data it makes sense,
Yes.
as opposed to just believing the rubbish out there. That to me is where it's going.
Okay.
Yeah, so I agree 100% there with Steve. I mean, you can call it AI, you can call it data, you can call it what you like. This information has been around for a long time. It's just really we're starting to talk about how do we use it? What do we do with it? How do we put all this information into a melting pot and get something useful out the other side? That said, you can get all the information and all the data out, but somewhere along the line, I think there's still people at the end of this road that need to connect and are going to connect with clients, etc. So we're going to use the data, we're going to use that information wisely. But somewhere along the line, all of us sitting around the table still want to talk to someone, share our facts with someone, share our problem, share our scenario from an insurance perspective with somebody and say, how do we find a solution? And then we're going to use what we know as people and our ability there, mix it with the data to find that solution.
Milesha, the post-pandemic world presents dynamic challenges for companies, employees, and clients, from quiet quitting to people burning themselves out in pursuit of the quote-unquote bag. It's clear that how people show up in their work affects everything, even if you have the greatest product in the world. How would you describe the culture at Leppard?
Okay, so at Leppard, we're really passionate about culture. And it's simply because we want a happy work environment for everybody. We've worked hard to create a supportive environment where people can learn, grow, and thrive. And rather than a competitive environment, we've created one of recognition and encouragement. We believe that you shine brightest when your colleagues shine. And there are many things that we do behind the scenes to create this culture. One of it is we still work on a hybrid structure, and we will continue to do so as long as the company thrives. This is a solid contributor to a positive work environment because it creates a work-life balance, right? Also, we look at, we support our colleagues. There are many people that are studying towards degrees, certificates. Knowledge sharing is very important as well, because if you equip your team, then they're able to handle the pressures and service clients. So that's also something that we do. And we've also done some personal health or mental health programs. And that's also important. Physical health, mental health is really important to us. And we have some fun. So fun's also important. And, being able to spend a Friday afternoon with your colleagues and having some laughter, that helps you bond. And that's how we create a good culture. We believe that happy employees equal happy clients, and that's what we're about.
So I'm going to go off script a little bit here and say that I've noticed that Glenn has got substantially fitter since the last time I saw him. And I'd imagine that a healthy leader helps in terms of transmitting to the people that he leads that this is important and we want to lead with our whole self. So Glenn, in terms of culture and how you've entered this space and continue to lead this space, how do you think that you've been giving to the space in terms of culture? I know I put you on the spot, but here we go.
I'm just going to, before I answer that question, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you saying that I was a lot fatter last time we were here?
I'm saying you're giving me goals vibes. That's what I'm saying, because I recognize there's so much about modeling, and like when leaders model, it's for me it says this is a person I want to walk behind. This is a person I want to walk alongside.
So yes, I mean we spend many hours a day in our work environment, be it currently in the office or on our hybrid model. And at the end of the day, I think we have to be, I think Steve used the word earlier, deliberate. Deliberate about how we plan, deliberate about how we balance our lives, deliberate about how we do everything. And to that point, as I said earlier, in getting older, you realize that you have to get that balance. You have to get the work, the enjoyment, the health, the sanity, everything together. And so it's in my diary. I go to gym 3 times a week. I have a trainer. She grills me for an hour each session. When I'm done, I'm dead. But guess what? As a result of that, I'm fitter and healthier. And in being fitter and healthier, it allows me to work with the team better, to manage that team better, to converse, to deal with the stresses that come from daily life. So yes, for me, it's just about setting a good example, and in setting that example, it's actually to my benefit at the same time, and everyone's benefit. So that's what it's about.
So I'm glad you said that, because at the end of the day, business is primarily about solving a client's problem and adding value, right? And in today's market, customer centricity is crucial. Glenn, as the longest tenured team member, and I'll say the healthiest team member, how do you ensure that the customer is at the heart of operations and decisions?
Yeah, so for me, it's about a couple of points. Number one, we have to try and see our business through our customers' eyes. What do they want? Or more importantly, what do they need from our products, and how do we best supply that, and how do we best assist? To this point, we're obviously constantly adapting our product offering, trying to keep up to date with what's happening. But as we all know, the world's changing fast and things happen fast. And essentially, we're just trying to provide them with a policy that truly fits their purpose and what they require. We also need to deliver a proactive customer experience. Obviously, when we go to the shops, whatever we do, we want a nice customer experience. Well, it's no different when you're dealing with your insurance people. So easy to talk that, not so easy to perhaps walk that. Because at the end of the day, we're dealing with people.
Yes.
People make mistakes. So, yes, I suppose you just really have to keep having those conversations, to keep trying to do better, keep trying to be better, and keep trying to give the client that consistent experience. And then built on top of that is obviously just training and the employee consistency. This is something that we never stop doing because we're all unique individuals. It's difficult. I'm personally involved monthly with various bits of training, and we talk about, as we like to refer it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The intention is to debate, discuss, assess, and probably when necessary learn from these things. Because guess what? It's not about throwing people under the bus, but the best scenarios to learn from are real situations that we've experienced, real problems that we've gone through, claims issues that we've dealt with. So yes, we discuss them openly and leave those meetings. No one feels like they've been thrown under the bus, but everybody's learned, and we've come to a team conclusion as opposed to Glenn's conclusion.
So we're approaching the end of our episode, and this is a question perhaps any of you can jump onto. With the client at the center of what you do, what are some of your goals and vision for Leppard in the years to come?
So I'm just going to jump in quickly and say, I just think we need to keep it simple. Far too often, everyone out there is looking for the next big way. How do we do something real, dramatic, and different? And to me, a lot of it is just keeping it simple. Keep doing what we do well. Build on that, yes, but never lose the core, because the core is what's got us to this point so far. And it's got us to a point where we're happy with where we're at. We're loving the company Leppard. We're loving our story, and we're in a good space. So for now, keep doing what you're doing well.
Yeah, I agree 100% with Glenn. And just to pick up on some of what he's been talking about is that end customer is both the insured and, in my view, the broker as well. And the word trust comes in there as well, being the trusted partner. And all the elements that we've been talking about builds to that crescendo of getting that customer to trust us with their concerns. And that's how we build our product. That's how we provide our services.
For me, it's much the same. I mean, we all sing from the same hymn sheet here. We know what we do, and we do that well, and we'll just continue to do that. Obviously, we'll improve where it needs to improve, but that's the way forward.
And that's it for episode 1 of season 2. It's great to be back with the Leppard team and delving into best practice when it comes to professional indemnity. Listen to previous and upcoming episodes of Insuring Trust with Leppard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Be sure to follow at Leppard & Associates on X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We look forward to speaking to you again soon in the next episode of Insuring Trust with Leppard.